Inspires, the radio show. We're outside the studio with filmmaker and author Vincent Rocca of Kisses and Caroms, and then we have Rebel Without a Deal here, and we have Rhomeyn Johnson, our guest host, who's going to help me answer, or not answer some questions, ask some questions. We want to find out first what inspired you to write the book. There we go.
The book was, well, money. I mean, that was, you know, from the get-go. Like I had said earlier on the show, or later on the show, depending on where you're watching this video, the movie was set up in such a way that... You raised your hand.
No, I'm sorry. Keep going, keep going.
That was direction. Now this is getting cut. The movie was set up in such a way that we were going to write a book, make a behind-the-scenes doc, have a soundtrack, have a movie where we had all our bases covered. So the concept of the book came from that. It was inspired by Robert Rodriguez's Rebel Without a Crew, hence the name Rebel Without a Deal. And it's very much along his same lines. The end result of the story is what happens when you don't get the 3-picture deal with Columbia Pictures like Robert Rodriguez did. What happens when you go direct to video, and that's what Rebel Without a Deal covers. So, I mean, that was the inspiration behind it, is obviously just to make a buck. The end result is it's probably the biggest asset any filmmaker could ever have in their tool bag, because Rebel Without a Deal details exact budgets. How much we spent to make the movie, how much the movie made, the statements from Warner Brothers, where every dime went and where every dime came from. And that's something that has not been seen on in any other book on any shelf of how much money you can possibly make with your movie.
So let me ask a quick question. Based upon what you're saying, this is almost like a rebirth of the old Hollywood studio system, you know, where now you have independent people like yourself and up-and-coming, you know, film entrepreneurs and people making films now, and then I guess going back to the studios, right?
I think what you're referring to, and yes, you're right, is that today everybody is their own studio, or everybody can be their own studio. So if you were to go back in old Hollywood and look at how Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and the Warner Brothers did it, Warner Brothers is actually a great example. Just ruthless marketing and cutthroat deals, and even Miramax, Bob and Harvey, a great book called Down and Dirty Pictures, which you should buy after you buy my book. But talks about how the Hollywood system works, and you can become your own studio and with your own film or with a slate of films and be successful with it today by following that model, because distribution is in a filmmaker's hands, where a decade ago it was not, and it was, you had to be a Hollywood mogul to get it. Today, distribution is in everybody's hands.
Now you have a conversation with Kevin Smith in the book. How did you approach Kevin Smith?
I stalked him a little bit. It's actually detailed in the book on how I met Kevin and how I got him to give me a quote for the movie, and then sit down. He sat down for 4 hours with me and did an interview that became about 60 pages of conversation in the book. Basically, I just kind of stalked him. Kevin's an easy person to stalk. At the time, he had his forum, his bulletin board, and I would just kind of learn about him and what he was doing. I live in LA, he lives in LA. I had owned a retail game room store, and one day I saw that he was looking for a blackjack table. So I sent his webmaster a message saying that I could provide him with a custom blackjack table, and that resulted in the initial connection between him and I. So today, Kevin is very prolific in podcasting. So you could find Kevin that way. And really, I mean, just like with anybody that you're trying to make friends with, you're looking for common ground. I mean, you walk into a party and you're making friends with somebody, you're looking for common ground that you can connect with them on. And that would be it, whether it's Kevin Smith or Steven Spielberg. Try and find where they are and try and figure out how to connect with them.
Yeah, smodcast.com, I believe he has several podcasts, including Jay Moore and Jason Mewes and things like that. So what is it about Kevin Smith that struck you that's so great? I mean, what does he have that, why didn't you approach Robert Rodriguez or someone else? Why Kevin Smith?
Well, Kevin is attainable to his fans. He's always been very connected to his fans through his bulletin board. Robert, not so much, and Robert's also in Texas. If I was in Texas, near Austin, I know Robert has a ranch there, and I know he's, from what I hear, he's pretty available in the community. I probably would have stalked Robert. But Kevin's movie Clerks is a lot more like Kisses and Caroms and like the type of movie that I enjoy, as opposed to Robert Rodriguez's films like El Mariachi, which is not. You know, it's shoot 'em up, and I mean they're good movies, but it really wasn't what I was after making, and still not what I'm after making. You know, Quentin would have been another one that I would have tried to approach. He's here in LA as well as that I'm here in LA. But Quentin today is a lot more accessible to his fans. He owns the New Beverly, and he goes to a lot of screenings there, and he'll go to oddball screenings at the New Art. The Human Centipede opening night when it played at the New Art, Quentin was there. So he is an accessible guy. You can meet him, you can connect with him. That's what Eli Roth did, and look at that dude's career. So that's why Kevin. I just kind of connected with Kevin a little bit more. You know, we're both kind of chubby, slacker, registered jockeys, and so it sort of worked that way, I suppose.
Let me ask you a quick question now. After your experiences with Kisses and Caroms and all the things that happened with the studio and the distributors, I think you're working on a new film, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of those mistakes and things, obviously, or hopefully, have been eliminated, right?
Yeah, one hopes that they're not going to make all the same mistakes the second time around. But just anybody will tell you who's on their 4th or 5th or 6th relationship that you continue to make mistakes. So I'm not an idiot in thinking that I won't make those mistakes, but I certainly am going to try not to. I mean, I have a roadmap for success now, and hopefully that works out on the next movie. Yeah.
Would you have released the book without Kevin Smith's, interview in here?
You know, that's hard to say because I met Kevin a long time ago and got the interview with him a long time ago, and it sat on the shelf waiting, mostly because I was waiting for financials and distributor statements before the book was really ready to release. So for a long time I knew that Kevin was attached to the book, and that Kevin's conversations with Kevin were going to be in the book. So I don't know if I would have. Yeah, I mean, I probably still would have, because selling one copy versus selling 10 copies is still one copy, and that's, if it helps one person, that's better than nothing. And if it makes me money, then that's better than nothing.
Did you go with a traditional publisher for the book?
No.
How did you do this?
No, the book is actually published print on demand through Amazon. So I did send it out to some publishers, and it was Kevin's publisher, Titan UK. I had a conversation with him, and he was very candid. Was it him or Focal Press? God damn it, no, I don't know. Anyway, one of them was very candid to say, look, you know who your market is, you know who this book is for. If you give it to a publisher, they're going to print a bunch of copies and you're never going to see a dime. He was candid to say that the publishing world works exactly like the indie film world does. And he said, since you already know who your market is, you already have Kevin attached, if you self-publish this, you'll do much better than you ever will with a publisher. And I believe he was right. He made a lot of sense, and he was a big enough publisher. I mean, he wasn't interested in distributing the book, but he took enough of an interest to spend about an hour on the phone with me and explaining to me what the publishing business was like. So he enjoyed the book enough to invest that time in me, and I'm grateful to him. I'd probably be more grateful if I remembered his name and which company he was with. It's Focal and Titan. So
in other words, we're back to square one as far as self-distribution.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just amazing. I mean, you talked about the film industry and how they screw you, and now you're saying how, to get the book out, how the big publishing houses will screw you and you not get paid anything. So it's really about self-distribution. I mean, you have to do everything for yourself, right?
Yeah. If you want to make money, you have to do everything for yourself. If you just... Yeah, I mean, if you just want to make movies, or make product, you could conceivably sell it, not make a profit, which means your investors don't profit, which means you're always looking for investors. So you're working one way or another. You're constantly either having to hunt down investors or hunt down money or distributors. So you might as well just distribute it yourself. It's the best way to put money back into your pocket, to put money back into your next film, and to put money back into your investor's pocket, who would reinvest with you in any situation today. I mean, not always, obviously, but look at all of the internet successes in music that put up a YouTube video, and the Friday Girl, and
Justin
Bieber. Right. These people did it on their own, and did it in a world where there was a slew of producers or studios or production companies or publishers or whatever you want to call them, who were lining up to say no to Bieber and to what's her name, Rebecca something, I think, Friday Girl. Anyway, I'm not good with names, obviously. But they did it on their own, and they've been wildly successful.
So that being said, which piece of product is more difficult to get out there in the marketplace, the book or the film?
Well, the film was distributed through Warner Brothers, and I went to each distributor to find a home for it. Today, I'm not sure that that's what I would do. I would probably self-distribute it. And by self-distributing the book or self-distributing the movie, I think today neither one is more difficult. They're both pretty easy to do. Companies like Amazon and iTunes and YouTube have just made it really easy for you to get your product into the marketplace. So I don't know that either one is hard.
So there's no excuses for some of us that want to do things like this. We have no more excuses.
The only thing that's in your way, like I said during the show, was having the confidence to do it.
Right. Just
getting off your ass and going out there and doing it. That's the hardest part. Early on, it's in the book when I have a conversation with Kevin's mother-in-law. She says that making a feature film or making a movie is the hardest thing that anybody can do, and I immediately disagreed with her, and I said, I don't think it's hard at all. It's just a matter of getting off your ass and doing it. And I still believe that today. Many movies that you see, many independent movies that are done just on blood, sweat, and tears, Open Water, Paranormal Activity, Clerks, are just somebody getting off their ass and doing it. It isn't like, Open Water, the guy refinanced his house, and or in Paranormal Activity, he took 15 grand of his own money, and Clerks was 27,000 of his own money. It's getting off your ass and doing it. Not waiting around for somebody to just come about and go, oh, I think you're a genius, here's a check. That's just not going to happen. Even Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, nobody was like running around going, oh, here's a check. Both of those guys busted their asses to get those computer companies launched. Busted their asses. And believed in something that everybody else thought was crazy. Today you take it for granted, but the idea of a mouse pointer on a screen was just some stupid, crazy thing that was never going to take hold. Nobody was ever really going to be interested in that. Well, history has dictated that the two guys who believed in it made it happen.
Well, that goes back, I think, to the book smarts versus the street smarts, and sort of the college teaching that you need permission to go ahead and do things, whereas if you've done things by your own rules, you don't need anyone's permission. Is that, maybe that's more of a statement than a question, but...
Yeah, I think that's more of a statement than a question. But no, that's true, and it's what I was trying to say about teachers in there, and the asking permission and following the rules. That's what teachers do. They follow the rules. What you need to do is take that education, treat it as a tool in your handbag, and do something with it, and turn it into something on your own. Whatever that case may be, music, book, whatever, a movie. Or a mouse pointer, and change the world. And that's, educated or not, or college graduate or street smart, the people who changed the world are the people who believed in what they were doing and had the confidence to do it. Does Kisses and Caroms change the world? Probably not. But one day I got a letter from a soldier in Afghanistan who was a really nice letter that said, hey, your movie, I sent movies over to Afghanistan just on a whim. And he said, hey, your movie was lying around here and I really enjoyed it and it really made a difference. It, you know, really made me laugh and took the edge off. So did that make a difference? It might have. I don't know. But those are the people who make a change in the world. They're people who get off their ass and do something.